Hey there everyone, we're back and we are going to paint an assassin. This is one of the Bones calves. A good view of them all pinned. These are just dollar clamps from Harbor Freight. Well, they're dollar clamps when they're on sale. And I've already gone ahead and washed them, or not washed them, primed them in some brown liner. Come on, focus. There we go. And I've kind of already got the color scheme, and I'll just go ahead and briefly show it. I'm using going to use the MSP paints, rather the HD paints that I won at Reaper Con. So we're going to start with a base coat of Armor Gray, and I'm going to leave that base coat pretty much everywhere. Then I'm going to highlight with some Crimson Red and some Gem Purple, and highlight, that's not the right word. I'm going to pick out the details in those two and work that up. But because this is just a base coat, I'm not going to fret too much about getting a perfect job done on it, and so I'm actually going to use a really big huge brush on this. Let's see if it'll focus up high. Actually, you know what? Let me just fix the focus here right quick. So I'm going to cut and then we'll be back. So there it's going to be fixed focus, and I'll just paint up high. I'm still using my tile, and I have not switched to a wet palette yet, and that's simply because I'm not going to do every brush stroke on this video. So I'm just going to quickly show how I'm going to do the base coat, see what it looks like. And that brown liner I put on really thick as well. So it's going to be really dark in there. So that'll help kind of pre-shade all this. Let me get the lights higher. I might show it better. And I may have to use a smaller brush for little pieces here and there. I think the brush was a little wet there. I don't... Okay. I was going to say I don't have any plans for this, but yes, I do. I'm going to try my hand at some freehand. That's one of the reasons we're not going to do brush stroke by brush stroke, because it would just be massive. And hey, this is just a base coat. And I'll probably have to put 2 coats on because it's, well, it's HD. It doesn't look like it's covering too much in that. I think I already said that's probably because the brush was wet. Get in focus here again. Might have to change the base it's sitting on. Well, I could just turn it around. Reason being is I can't see the figure that I'm painting through that. That looks like it's fine. But getting back, you know, if you watched my ReaperCon review, you know, I took a class on weathering, and I don't plan to make a rust bucket out of this one. But you know, we might do some pigments on it. Well, pigments weren't, I guess he did go over some pigment. But I'm going to try the highlighting trick with the watercolor pencil, and I think I even bought a light gray one. It was before I even picked what color I was going to paint this, so just looking to the side here to make sure I'm in focus. Can't tell if I am or aren't. About right there. So I'm going to use that to do some edge highlighting. And don't know about bases. You know, we may just do a simple base. I may do a complex base. We may just say flock it and be done with it. But I was sitting here thinking I might put it on a round base just for grins. I'm not sure. But I think, is there anything else I can think of that I was going to say about the video? Don't think so. So I'm going to cut here, and I'll have the base coat finished on it and the other three pieces. And then we'll go to the next step, which will be that highlighting thing. Okay, there he is, fully painted, and should see a slight difference in the camera angle. It's because, one, it's been 2 weeks since I've adjusted things, and two, I am using a different setup for recording this now. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to jump into some Gem Purple from the high definition series of Reapers. And I'm just going to paint all, well, get in focus here. I'm recording directly to Microsoft Movie Maker in an attempt to not have the video take so much time to record. But again, you know, this isn't going to be stroke for stroke, but I'm going to try to paint all the little details that are bumped up. And I have a plan for things. I might paint that orange. A little. I don't really know what it is. But anyway, this is what I'll be doing. All these little details, probably 1 or 2 coats, all the way around. And then I was sitting there thinking, oh yeah, I was going to highlight with some gray or light gray and shade it. And it's like, no, I rewatched the first part of this video. It's like, no, I really don't plan to do that. So yeah, this will be just a little thing. Aha. If I manage to not paint everything the wrong color. But what I'm going to try to do is, I have to think on this one, sorry, is highlight this with some red and kind of make a little transition zone. And you know, that one's almost dry, so let's try that. Just going with crimson red. Thank you, focus. It's already shook up. This was a little trick that I learned at ReaperCon, and it's really meant for shading. But, you know, we're going to try this anyway. I'll move the palette in. Wash the brush off. Get my towel out from underneath that. And I'm going to go ahead and dip it in the purple first. And then I'm going to brush off just around the tip and dip it into the red. And normally this would be a shade, and that's too much red. But I Actually, I'm going to try that again. It may not work because this is actually Marique was saying to use a synthetic brush. But let's see how well we can get this. If we can get it to come into focus. Yeah, I've got a whole thing in front of this camera. It's one reason I don't know how to. I haven't figured out how to get this to autofocus running through Microsoft Movie Maker. There we go. And nope, screwed that up completely. But you know, that's kind of what I was trying to do right there. I guess it's kind of a wet blending technique. So okay, let's not do that with colors that aren't matching. I'm sure I could sit down and figure it out, but let's not do this on video. So let's just do the purples, and I will do that off camera, and then we'll be back and I'll show you the result. Show off time. Here's what I've got done on the torso. And I just went around, picked out little things here and there that I thought could be highlighted. Here is the cockpit all picked out in those colors as well. And went all the way underneath too. And it's not going to focus. There we go. And just to be complete, the arms of the CAV. And again, just, you know, kind of picking it out. And I was going to try to highlight in red. I won't show the other arm because it's similar. But let's experiment a little bit. So what I've got on the palette is a few drops of sky blue. Focus. There we go. Sky blue. And quite a bit of water. Now normally, you can see it bleed into there. Normally I wouldn't mix the paint with my brush, but this is for the video. So we've got it really wet and it's almost a wash. And I have not even tried this yet, and that's too much. Much too much. So all I'm trying to do is just get it wet. That's not the direction I want. I want the darkest one up there. It's not in focus. Focus, I tell you. Focus! Oh, you know you want to. Come on. There we go. And let's do this one. I think it may just need more water. So I like that little effect there. Come on, I know you want to focus. Ah, come on. There. Kind of. I might skip this. There we go. Now, I don't like that little water line right there. So let me wipe some of this off. Not sure I can get that. I might take a little bit of purple with some water. Just to kind of try to transition over that. So anyway, taking that wet water stuff, and I'm just going to be not that much. We already determined that. So I guess really the trick's to wipe off almost all of it. I do not want a puddle there. So I'm just going to go around and do that to all the spots, and we'll see what that looks like. And it probably will be too subtle to show up on camera. Alright, I probably should have practiced this a little bit, but just to show you, I'm wiping off most of the water, and that was too much, so it's still hit and miss for me. But you can't really see it. That's really probably not in focus either. Focus. Thank you. I'm basically just making the top of it wet. And not focus again. Just going to keep doing that. So that's what I'm doing. Just frustrating. I'm just as frustrated as you are. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing, and I'll be back. With everything done, it'll still be too subtle to even show. You know what? Skip it. If it's too much to even show up on camera, then it's probably really not worth it to do at all. So forget I said anything about that. Let's just skip to the next thing. So what is that next thing? Well, I had to stop the video and think for a bit. So I'm going to go in with the sky blue again. And this time it will not be highlighting. It will not be focusing either. There we go. We're going to paint the windows in here. That's a big glob of paint. And I really should have painted the windows first. And then done the purple. But I can go back and fix that, I'm pretty sure. And yes, I'm just kind of glomming it onto the corners here because I can't actually paint this close. Not in focus. Focus, focus. See? That's what you're supposed to be focusing on. Stupid camera. So, but anyway, you get the point. Fill that in. Then we'll come and we'll touch up the insides of everything with that purple, which kind of screws up all the highlighting we were doing. But that's just painting life, so there we go. And here's the cockpit. I've already cleaned up the purple a little bit. This is not everything we will do to it, but I'm going to let it dry because this new system I'm using to record allows me to do nearly inline recording. But I was going to do something with crimson red, and now I don't have anything to do with it because I've changed plans too much. So what to do? Well, we've got these nice big flat plates here, and been pondering trying to do a freehand thing there. Oh, well, I'll do this or that, and I'm thinking no. But what I can do, if I didn't have enough paint on there, is I think I will trace around and kind of outline it and just kind of make a shape in the middle. And this is going to be intensive for me, so I'm not going to do this on video. But there's the next stage here. Yeah, that's ugly, isn't it? Well, from everything I learned about freehand, that's kind of the way you're supposed to do it. And so I did that on both sides, and then went back with the purple. And it's still not perfect, but that's more intact with the way more in line with the way I imagined it to look. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that for this side. Actually, let me show a little bit of what I'm talking about. I've just got a minuscule amount of paint on here. And just by little strokes, I'm going to go back in and erase some of that red. And then I'll just get closer and closer and closer to that outside edge that I like, and then I'll be done. So that's what I'm doing. And so there's the end result. And that, I think you could agree, looked a lot better than the way it did before. This one's really kind of mushed in the wrong direction, so I might fix that. But anyway, that's all I was trying to do there, just a little tiny extra detail. And now I'm going to move on to that cockpit again. Okay, so here we have the cockpit. What I'm going to be doing is from the back right-hand side of the cockpit, I am just going to make a series of little lines going across with, focus, see, golden blonde. Okay, and I just picked that because I liked the color. I'll get my paint on the brush, camera in focus. I'll wipe off a lot of that paint. And basically that's it. And I'm going to do that to each of the windows, and then I'll be back here in a second. Focus. Here is the finished cockpit. Try to get it into view here. And you know, it's a little subtle, but that's kind of what I was going for. And I did find that if I went very slowly, the paint would come off the brush a little bit. And I just saw, and I was going to mention this too, so I've gone in and cleaned it up, but I've stroked some spots in there that are white on purple now, or the blonde on purple. So I'll just take the brush and clean those up. But I wanted to show you where I'm at. We've got just a few more steps to go. Detail time. We've got all those little knobs in there, which I am going to say are missiles or something. I don't have the CAV spreadsheet in here. And so take some focusing, bright red, and I'm just going to dot each one of those. And my bright red is just really, really thick, but it should work for what we're trying to do here. And of course, that's not in focus. Here we go. Stay in focus. Stay on target. Stay on target. And I just touched that, but I'm not going to worry about that. And I touched it again, but I'm going to go around a couple more times. There we go. And we'll get that all painted up nice and pretty like. And so that's what the two missile pods on top of the arms look like. My next step is I'm just going to put a little black dot on each one of those tips of the guns. Normally, yeah, you could drill those out, but no real reason to. So I'm just going to paint them black. I'm not even going to show that. Just use whatever black you want. And then I'll do a few more details I think I've got on the back. For the last little bit of details, I'm going to use some focus on it, thank you, polished silver. Ouch. And there's a couple little details back here. Where, focus. There you go. Those two little rings, ooh, you can see them really good right there. I'm going to paint those silver. I will maybe paint the little grill in the middle here silver. I'm going to paint a little feature on the front here silver. And then I'm going to paint the two underside pieces. if it'll focus. There's two little squares on either side there that I will paint silver. And then some fiddly bits, maybe around on the arms. I'm thinking these little bump features, if it would focus. So I'm going to name this episode just Focus, Focus, Focus. And I hadn't painted those, so I'll paint those maybe in silver. And let's see here. On the torso, I might paint those two pads up there silver, and maybe the little back ends behind these pockets and in there silver. Just for a little point of interest. And so we'll see how that looks. I almost forgot to try that watercolor technique for edging. So I'll go ahead and do that right quick on this one. See how that works. You're supposed to just get the edge of the tip and drag it along. I think I can see something. I think I can, so yeah, it's kind of interesting technique. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to everything, and we will see how that turns out. All done on that, and you can see a little bit. And this side was done with white, and this side was done with the gray. And I'm not exactly sure I can tell the difference. I think I like the gray a little bit more for a CAV because it's metallic looking. And so there's that, and you know, it's pretty decent weathering technique, and so we'll keep it. Here's a arm that was done. I did the barrels black like I said, and I ran that pin, trying to get it to focus. And it's just not good. There we go. Painted that black and then ran the pencil around it. There's the other arm, all done up. Decent enough. And lastly, the cockpit. And I think I actually missed a spot there, so just do a little bit on screen. That's all it is. And I ran it around the cockpit and the edges here underneath. So cool little technique, and I'm counting that as a finished vehicle. I am not going to base it in this video. This is not a basing video, it's a painting video. Focus! I think I'm going to have to change the background pad because it wants to focus on those lines so badly. But anyway, I'm going to put this together and call it done. And so, there it is. Of course, no base on it. But that's a pretty decent little calf, and pretty happy with it, except for this part, so don't look at its butt. Yeah. Fun little job. I'm proud of it. I will probably base it offline. No reason to show it. But there you go. Thanks for watching and enjoy.